Freelance greetings, today we're gonna talk about the Stoker coming from the new entrenched Division warband. I have to speak a little quieter now because I got to recording pretty late in the night, so well, just turn up the volume of the video, but anyways, let's go. The Stoker is very similar to the Defender, basically being a version of it with attached flamethrower. The damage of Stoker is 130 light pen ballistic damage and it has 30 durable damage. The capacity of this gun is 45 and it has 5 spare mags per default and it has RPM of 420. When it comes to the underbarrel flamethrower, it has the very same damage as most those weapons, except for the cremator, capacity of 50 and 3 spare tanks. Even though I said it's similar to the Defender, I actually like the Stoker a lot more, because I feel like the trade from fire rate to damage is good when it comes to something so similar to the Defender. The Stoker specializes in killing the unarmored enemies or the light enemies in terms of health, like Vaultless, Hunters, something like that. Because with that low fire rate and with that low track, it feels underwhelming when going against some medium enemies like the Overseers or Berserkers, even though they have light armor. But for that we have the flamethrower, which deals with heavy armor and basically just has more damage than the standard firing mode. And you can also use it for additional crowd control, either if you run out of standard ammo, or it just is too much of the light enemies at you. It also means, since it's heavy pen, that you can damage the heavy enemies, so if you don't have any other option, you can actually kill them with it, though I wouldn't say it's advisable. We're gonna go straight into the Terminate front, where I think it is the best, because of how much unarmored enemies there is. Even though they vary in health pools, going even for something huge and technically in-game being called heavies, like the Alpha Commanders, it is still plenty of enemies that the Stoker will not suffer against because they don't have that light armor. Anything below Warrior, and including the Warrior, is an easy target for the Stoker. Hive Guard is also easily taken down, especially if you go for the Crisper. And the Alpha Commander can eat up some of your ammo when the standard firing mode comes in play, but the Crisper will easily burn it away, even if there is too much bugs, which will cause you problems with the standard firing mode due to the fire rate, and since the bugs are a bit tanky, the Crisper will help you with that, especially since it's a one-handed weapon and you can pour the fire behind you. And well, even though it is all of the enemies you can actually hurt and kill, well, of course I didn't talk about all of them, but it's not going up for heavies or most of the medium enemies here, but it still feels very good at this one role of crowd control and dealing with the light enemies. And it's pretty similar for the Squid front when it comes to mindless masses and standard illuminate. Because, like I said, for the unarmored enemies, so for the Vaultless Horde, it's perfect. They will die easily, both to the standard firing mode and to the crowd control with the Crisper of Underbarrel Crisper, same thing. And even the flash mob, when poured with the whole tank, will only need some follow-up shots to be dead, so easy takedown as for this weapon. It struggles a bit with the Overseers due to them having light pen, but if you take out the underbarrel flamethrower, it should be good and should be not a trouble. Though it is kinda annoying to actually hit the elevated Overseers. And even though you can kill the Harvester with the flamethrower, I would say do that as the last resort, because there are way better options and it will eat about your whole tank. Well, maybe not the whole, but it will eat a lot of it, especially if you are not aiming at the joints of the Harvester. But when it comes to the Appropriators, I wouldn't say it's a good pick. The sheer number of intruders will overwhelm this weapon because it's very slow, and this is an Illuminate front only, meaning most of the enemies here are the Overseer, except for those 500 intruders, of course. And then you have the Max, which can be killed with the light pen, especially if you go for the pilot, although I wouldn't say this one is a go-to pick from the light pen weapons for the new Max enemies. It just doesn't feel right on this subfaction of the Illuminate. So, as long as you keep it for the two standard, quote-unquote, subfactions, it will do pretty well. And lastly, we have the bots where I think it's the least effective. Not the bad, it's mediocre because, well, it doesn't have anything that it's really good at. And it's basically because this round is packed with medium units, meaning they have either medium pen spots or light pen spots. They do have weak spots, they're the Devastators, and they can be one-tapped to the head with the Stoker, but only up close size that Stoker has a huge drag factor. And yes, you can also burn them, which will be kinda easier, but the Devastators have fire resistance, quote-unquote, and well, once again you have to get up close to them. So, while you of course can kill them, especially in the close quarters, it's not going to be the most efficient way. It will be efficient for taking on the troopers though, of course. And well, like I said in the usage part, you can kill the Hulk with this, with the heavy pen of the flamethrower, but only as a last resort, and if you're using the standard firing mode on these vents, it will take too long, so unless it's confused it will just turn around and kill you. And I wouldn't really go for anything else, obviously. Now for the equipment advisory section, there is a lot you could take, but I'm going to focus on two things. I would advise you take secondary for medium enemies and support weapon for the heavies, or one of those for both medium and heavies, because these two are the end type of enemies that the Stoker will struggle with. And well, that's pretty much it. I just see it as a better version of the Defender that actually has a nice design. And well, I don't think there's a lot more I could say, especially that it's late and I should probably get it finished. So anyways, I will see you in the next one, probably by Tuesday. See ya, Helldivers.